Okay, thanks everyone for coming today. Y'all know why you're here. Good afternoon. Welcome to the San Luis Obispo Chamber of Commerce Legislative Council on the county's proposed events ordinance. My name is Clint Pierce, and I'm with Madonna Enterprises, and I'm the Vice Chair for Legislative Affairs for the Chamber of Commerce. First, a bit about the Chamber. We represent approximately 1,500 members throughout the city and county. And we have 15 paid staff members, 2 of which are actively involved in public policy development and legislative representation for business in the city, county, and even state level. So this is really central to what we do, as well as it has significant county issues. As you know, the issue that we are going to be discussing today cuts to the heart of several of the Chamber's core issues: the viability of agriculture, protecting our area's scenic beauty and character, promoting our region as an attractive tourist destination, and proactively protecting and enhancing our unique quality of life. The Chamber's Board of Directors is very concerned that some of the changes being proposed in the county's events ordinance may have unintended consequences that will hurt tourism, agritourism, and the viability of agriculture, and the potential for collateral impact on even more business and industry locally. That is one of the reasons that we are putting this forum on today, in order to encourage more dialogue on this important work underway at the county. Now, it is my honor to introduce 3rd District Supervisor Adam Hill, who graciously agreed to put this forum on in conjunction with us. Halfway into his first year in office, Supervisor Hill is demonstrating strong leadership at the board, showcasing his interest in both protecting our quality of life and creating head of household jobs, which interestingly is really in sync with what the Chamber's mission and vision is too. He has taken an active interest in economic development, working with Supervisor Meacham to head up the creation of a county economic development strategy. Please help me to welcome Supervisor Adam Hill.
Thank you very much, Clint. And thank you all for being here on this afternoon. And this should be a very useful, and hopefully you'll come away from this with some more answers, and we will also hear some more from you and your concerns. I wanted to go over the format and sort of the ground rules, and then introduce each of our panelists. And of course, I want to thank the Chamber for co-hosting this with us, and I also want to thank my colleagues, some of who are here as well, for participating here as well. The format is we're going to start by providing a little overview of the ordinance, how we got to where we are right now, and Karen Nall, our senior planner, will do that. Then we'll give each panelist up to 10 minutes to share their perspective on the proposed events ordinance. So each of them will have 10 minutes to do that. And after that, we'll open it up to Q&A, and we'll do a combination, which you have slips, and we'll go around if you need more. We'll be collecting written. We will also try to alternate with a microphone to allow you to ask live your questions as well, so that you can do either, whichever, you know, some discussion may stimulate a question, and you'll get a chance to raise your hand and be called on a microphone. And the only warning I want to give you is, please get to your questions, rather than speechifying, pontificating, preambling, all those things that take up more time, which is what I'm doing. Get to your questions, address who it is that you'd like to answer, and that will make I think a better discussion here. And then each panelist will get a 1-minute closing statement as well. So so everybody will get a chance to ask questions, and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. Okay? So let me introduce the panelists, and then we'll start with their presentations. Karen Nall is our senior planner, and she's going to begin basically by providing us a little bit of background on how we got to where we are on the proposed ordinance. Next to her, usually in my seat, is Andrew Christie, who is the director of the Santa Lucia chapter of the Sierra Club. It's a nonprofit national conservation organization with over 22, don't you always say 2,400 members in our county? So Andrew Christie. Next to Andrew is Jackie Crabb, who is the executive director of the SLO County Farm Bureau, a non-governmental nonprofit membership organization that's purpose is to protect and promote agricultural interests throughout San Luis Obispo County and to find solutions to the problems of the farm home, and the rural community. Next to Jackie is Kim Pasciuto, who is the co-chair of the Ag Tourism Coalition. Her group is interested in supporting a sustainable level of ag tourism that protects ag and rural land to benefit farmers and ranchers and allows them to market their ag products. And finally, we have Daniela Sapriel, who owns Hummingbird House and Vineyard in Templeton. She's representing the Coalition of Affected Business Owners. CABO, there's a new acronym for you. This is a nonpartisan grassroots group of landowners, business owners, and other county residents opposed to the proposed events ordinance. So each of them will get 10 minutes after Karen gives a little bit of background. So before we begin, if you would please give a welcome to each of our panelists and thank them for being here. So I'm going to start by turning it over to Karen Nall, and if anybody's looking for a seat, we do have seats, so come on down. Karen?
Thank you, Supervisor Hill. It's unusual for me to be on this side of the desk, so I'm out of my comfort zone here. I'm usually sitting down there with my back to all of you. So first off, I wanted to just go through a little bit of the history, and hopefully when you walked in, you got a little fact sheet, and that's basically what I'm discussing. Is back in 2002, the Board of Supervisors directed the Planning Department and the Tax Collector's Office to do some work on the event ordinance, and it was to help facilitate, basically it was a slow symphony. Every year they would do their concert out at Avila, and every year they would have to come before this board through a public hearing process and receive a business license. So that was how the whole animal started, was back in 2004. Then in 2005, the Agriculture Department and the Planning Department started an ag tourism project, which was a way to help facilitate ag tourism in the county. The board directed the Planning Department to do a number of ordinance amendments, which included bed and breakfasts, roadside stands, and a number of other ordinance amendments, and one included events. So we had these two directions going. We basically put them together. But through the ag tourism effort, we formed an ag tourism work group, which was 20 members of the community, real diverse group. They in turn formed an event committee to discuss this item. So there's been a lot of public input, a lot of effort going into it. One thing I'd like to say is the event committee didn't agree either on anything. They came up with some draft language, but they really had a hard time agreeing on a direction for this ordinance. So we're all not alone. Everybody's not agreeing on a lot of this event ordinance. Then where are we now? The staff, planning staff and the ag commissioner staff spent months and months drafting up some language. We referred it out to all the advisory councils and any other affected county departments, and then we compiled an ordinance and presented it to the Planning Commission back in May of 2008. Since that time, we've met with the Planning Commission about 5 times, and then at the last meeting was February 26th. The Planning Commission directed the planning staff to use a version of the ordinance that was drafted by the Ag Tourism Coalition. So on Thursday, the Planning Commission is going to be reviewing that draft. So that's kind of where we are. I wanted to just make a few comments about what this ordinance doesn't apply to, and that would be doing private weddings on private property, your daughter's wedding, your sister's wedding, when there's no charge for the event. Private functions are not regulated. Also, this ordinance doesn't affect events when they're held at winery locations. And it does, however, which I think why a lot of people are interested in this topic today, is it may affect the ability to hold events in agriculture if the event is not related to agriculture, so a wedding. And with that, that's my long-winded where we've been.